Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening wherever you might be. My name is Mr. Polar12, and in my 19 years of life, I have played a multitude of games. Some were really good, and some were so bad they shouldn't even be considered games. In my search for good games to play, I learned that Epic Games was just giving away a new game or new games every month. And for 2-ish years, I have been accumulating those free games. At first, it was just a couple, then 50, then 100, and now it's at 200 games. 200 games that were just sitting in there untouched until I decided to play one game from my library every day from Monday till Friday. I call this the quest for some epic games. Every day I will download a new game from the Epic library. I will give the game at least 2 hours, that might change depending on the game. And at the end I will rate and judge the game based on certain criterias. Number 1, how hard the game's original soundtrack slaps and how good the sound design is. That includes voice acting, background noise, and sound effects. Number 2, how good the game looks to me personally. A game can have good graphics, but I might not like the design choices. Number 3, originality and creativity of story. And number 4, how good the gameplay experience feels overall. So join me on my quest for epic games. Also, I stream live almost every day. I'll pin the live stream details in the comments, so come hang out because it would be nice to talk to other people for once. Alright. The fourth game I played was Wolfenstein: The New Order. Wolfenstein is a story-driven FPS, which reminds me of playing BioShock or Dishonored when I played it. First things first, music and sound design. I really like the sound design in this game. The explosions, shots, vehicle noises all sound realistic and immerse me in the war setting. The gun sounded satisfying to shoot, and the background ambient noises added to the immersion. Their voice actors were convincing in the roles and made me invest more into the story instead of just trying to rush past it. Even the passing side characters sounded really into it. I can't really say much about the OST. I feel like I didn't play enough to hear enough of their original songs. Their background music was just good for ambience, at least. But overall, I give the music and sound design an 8.5 out of 10. Now onto the visuals. I really like the gritty visuals of the game in the battlefield part. It added to the immersion. The choice to make the city all concrete and similar looking creates this dystopian feeling of a lack of expression, a lack of warmth, showing how restricting and cruel the Nazi government is. The enemies' designs were really cool, and I really liked the way the giant robots would melt down and explode when you defeat them. The characters looked like real humans, and they showed a good amount of emotions. The only thing I have is that when your character makes a sad expression, it looks hilarious to look at. All of the cinematics I watched were really good too. Visuals will get a 7.5 out of 10. The story of the game is pretty creative and definitely stands out as an original story. It is the realization of the what if question of what if the Nazis win. There aren't a lot of games with this premise, and they did really well in telling the story. I'll give the story an 8 out of 10 because of its originality and because it was pretty interesting. The gameplay felt like a standard story driven FPS, very similar to Bioshock and Dishonored. The difference between this game and the other two is that this is more focused on the use of firearms. Dishonored was more about stealth and the use of your abilities, and Bioshock was more of a balance of firearms and abilities. I really like the way all three play, and I really enjoyed these types of games. The levels weren't overly difficult and gave enough of a challenge to make it enjoyable, and there aren't any BS levels that I found annoying to go through. The combat was satisfying and it was pretty intense in some parts. Overall, I really enjoyed playing the game, and I would definitely play this to the end. I would probably pump a lot of hours into this game. Overall, I give the gameplay a 9 out of 10, which gives the game an overall score of 8.25 out of 10. I would definitely recommend it to other people, and I think that $25 for this game is a fair price. Although getting it for free is better, so don't forget to make use of the Epic Games monthly free games. Alright, see you later.